I read verse 11. Hebrews 11, verse 11. Through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. We're looking at this topic this morning, faith that trigger manifestation. Faith that trigger manifestation. Faith triggers manifestation in the life of Sarah when everything around her says otherwise. It was faith that gave her Isaac. Medically, she was unfit. Humanly, it will not happen. She herself, by her own statement, in Genesis chapter 20, it cannot happen. Based on what her eyes see, what experience had taught her. But faith proved her wrong. Faith proved medical science wrong. Faith proved everything wrong. And Isaac was born. It was faith that wiped her reproach away. That tells you, it doesn't matter what the situation you are going through looks like. If your faith is as strong as the faith of Sarah, situation will turn around to favor you. It doesn't matter the nature of reproach that you carry about. If you can develop your faith, that reproach will be wiped off. Faith cancel her delay in childbearing and made her a mother. And made her to know the joy of having her own children after she had helped others to train their own children. In her home, a lot of children was given birth to, but none of those children was her own. There was no year the children were not given birth to in her home, based on the number of servants that she had. But she never tasted the joy a mother had when she opened her eyes after delivering a child. The moment the woman looked at a corner where the child lay, there's a kind smile that shows forth that cancel all the pains she had gone through. Faith dried her midnight tears. Is it the way I will end my life? Can't I give my Lord a child? Faith dried that tears away. The same faith can dry your tears away if you can develop that kind of faith. All that is written aforetime were written for us, that we, through the patience of the scripture, we have hope. Whatever you are going through in life, there have been someone that went through that the scripture are put down so that you, while reading the story of that individual, we understand that this your situation has been God had handled it and gave someone victory over it. Faith says no. When everything in her body said that she will not know the joy of being called mama by her own child. Faith is stubborn. Very, very stubborn. Faith does not take no for an answer. Most of the things that believers and children of God are going through in life is lack of faith. Some faith will trigger in them as they hear message or testimonies, but they have not been able to develop enduring faith, faith that persevere, stubborn faith that will not take no as an option, not minding the number of years the situation they are fighting against lasted. That's what happened to Sarah. She fought this battle of delay in childbearing for 25 years. And her faith was always strong. Today, many people that are in the church do not have such lasting, enduring faith. They develop faith in the morning. By evening, their faith is weakened. They develop faith in the afternoon. By mid-afternoon, their faith is gone. They develop faith in the night during vigils. Before the vigil will be over, their faith will disappear, because to them, the moment they develop their faith, answer must be given. And if answer is not given, God is no more there. Prayer is no more answer. Why wasting my time? And the moment that comes their way, they will start all over again. Faith is a great fighter that puts smile on your face when everything around you is in opposition against you. If we will develop that great fighter called faith, that we go extra mile to make sure you smile, that we pull down every opposition on the way of your breakthrough, that we trample on serpents and scorpions that want to injure your speed so that you will not reach where you are going, you will be able to smile. Your faith will travel to heaven if you can be able to develop such solid faith. And right before God, argue your case and then bring down to you favorable results. And that's why we need to develop unshakable faith. Faith that is trained to wither to weather all kind of storm. Because for your faith to travel to heaven and find himself right in the presence of God, there are so many battles that faith must have fought and win. If that faith is not able to fight such war and win, it will be blocked from having access into the presence of God. You saw that in the case of Daniel. And when situation was no longer favorable, Daniel's faith persevered. Pull all opposition out of his way and make sure he assessed the presence of God. It was when that faith stood in the presence of God that God alerted Michael. And Michael came down and met with the prince of Persia, dealt heavy blow against him, freed angel Gabriel that trapped down for 21 days, and allowed him to come down with the answer that Daniel was waiting for. Your faith, if you can develop it to be strong enough, has what it takes in him to silence both demons and devils, and then cause your sun to shine in the middle of midnight of silence, midnight of rejection, midnight of the trial of your faith, midnight of oppositions that life will throw at you, midnight of storms of life that threatens to drown you. If your faith is not strong, when this hour come, I call them midnight, because when all these things show forth, anywhere you look at, you will see blackout. You will not be able to see light coming from any quarter. At that moment, it is only your faith that will pull sun and mountains on the galaxy of your life, so that it will be able to expel darkness that wish to destroy you. Faith will enable you to receive power from God for your financial prosperity. Faith will pull you from dungeon to the mountain top. Faith will pull the poor out of the dust and lift him to the mountain of glory. Faith will lift the beggar from the dunghill of loneliness, suffering, and rejection to the mountaintop of surprise. Faith will produce a prince out from a beggar. Faith will make a nobody of yesterday to become a strong force to reckon with today. Faith will make a poor man whom nobody wants to associate with to inherit the throne of glory. Faith will lift a man that has been forgotten to the mountaintop where the princes of the earth are gathered to discuss things that matter. That tells you that in any stage of your life, if you want to move from point 0 to 100, or whichever percentage you want the level you want your life to get to, faith is needed. You want to wipe your ugly history away, faith is needed. You want to silence your mockers that believed that nothing good will ever come out of Nazareth. You need faith. You do not want to end the way your mother ended. You need faith. You do not want to end the way your father and those that are of the same lineage where you came out from. Faith is what will separate you, like David, like Joseph. If you don't want your history to be buried in the dunghill, faith is the only thing that you needed. Sometimes people in their ignorance thinks they need education, acceptable certificate. No, sir. Education is wonderful, powerful. You need it in order for you to be exposed and understand the tricks of life. But faith will not take, education will not take you where you wish to be in life. The only thing that will take you where you wish to be in life is faith. That's why with your education, if you want to be someone in life, get faith. Faith is a ladder that will take you to the mountaintop of glory that only selected few had been able to climb and reach the top since the history of life. You can count your fingers that make up the number of men with a multitude we have on earth that had been able through their faith to get to that mountaintop where they needed to get to. Faith will order the feet of God's saints to the land where he will be honored. That's why you are traveling to the land of honor, and the only thing you equipped yourself with is your certificate. You'll be disappointed. You are traveling to the land of honor, and the only thing you are equipped with is the contact and human connections you have with you. You'll be disappointed. You are traveling with the land of honor, and the only thing that you equipped yourself is a little change in your pocket. Sorry, you will return back with tears on your eyes, because your feet will be diverted. Your feet will be slowed down. That before you get to that land of honor where they will honor you, they will make you to get there late. When those who are supposed to confer that honor on you are waited and left. They might staged hold up on the way. They might touch your vehicle, and before you finish battling with the vehicle and you get there, everything is over. They might cut the hose that transmits your petrol to your carburetor, and before you're able, and they will make you not to see such a small thing on time. They might, in the early hours of the night, lose the bolt of your tire, and while you are on the way, the tire pulls out, They may program that to hit to an individual, injure the person before you run up and down to see that the person survives. The time is over. But when your faith is what you arm yourself with, those things will be cleared out of the way. Faith, we heal the wound of yesterday caused by poverty, caused by rejection, caused by suffering, caused by a reproach that decided to waste your life and then make you to forget those pains. Faith, we enable a child of God to enjoy all that God have for him. A lot of believers, if they make it to heaven, they will curse themselves. I've told us a story here of a young man. He lived in this such before he died. One day he came to me and said, "Sir, I had a terrifying dreams." I said, "Can I hear it?" He says in his dream, he was taken up to heaven. And right there in heaven, they took him, the angel that was conducting him, took him to a large warehouse. And as he entered, he could not see the end of the edge, the side of the warehouse. He was not able to see the extreme end of the warehouse. And everything that humanity needed to live a better life is there, with their names stick on them. And they asked the angel a question: "Why is all these things here?" And the angel told him, "This is what the Lord provided for his children on earth." And angel used a scaring word, and none of them are coming to pick all these things. And they are lying there waste. Everything that man needed. And when they finished there, he said, "Come." And he took him to a particular place. And as they got there, the angel pressed a remote, and the door showed forth. And they asked him to enter. He said, "No, come, let's go." He said, "No, I am not permitted to go there with you. That is the mansion the Lord had prepared for his children on earth." And when he climbed what took him to where he was going, he saw beauty that cannot be described with the language of a man. This man that saw these things, I'm telling you, died wretched. Died suffering. And the wife and the children he had left behind was forced, as a result of poverty, to travel back to the village. And one day, his elder daughter, very young then, called me. And I tried to ask questions. She was already married. Because of poverty, she could not continue in her education. And she was forced to marry. And even that marriage she married, she also ended up in the hand of a poor man. Now, why did God took him up to see those things? To tell him that the life he was living was imposed to himself. That this is not the life that your creator, your father, wish you to live. You have everything that you needed. Your name attached to it. But why is it that people are on earth suffering? Now I mean believers. All those things in that warehouse are for believers. There are things that belongs to general humanity. Sinners, believers, demons incarnate, cultists, ritualists, everyone. Things like sun that is shining now, oxygen that we are breathing now, and rain that falls and all that. There are things a sinner does not have an access to. You remember a woman that came for healing, and she was crying. Jesus told her that she was a dog. If that is not placed in the scripture, and that story was told us, nobody will believe that Jesus will call a woman a dog. But why did he call her a dog? Jesus described the kind life that woman was living. She lives life of immorality, life that is dirty, life that is unclean, life that is not glorifying God. The woman humbled herself, and something happened. That tells you not everything that is in that warehouse does not belong to a sinner. Does not belong to a sinner. As a sinner, if you want to have access to the things that will make your life beautiful, you must turn your life to Jesus for him to manage that life for you. Else, you will suffer in life. Now, this might be, just as you're hearing it now, a testimony, a story that somebody tell. How sure are we? Because as I told you, the man is late, is dead. We cannot verify from him. But look at the confirmation of what he told us. That the Lord enabled him to see with his eyes. 2 Peter chapter 1. 2 Peter chapter 1. Reading from verse 3. According as his divine power had given unto us all things that pertain unto life. All things that pertain unto godliness, through the knowledge of him that has called us to glory and to virtue. Now, this verse summarizes the story I just told you, that the young man told me one-on-one. I was his leader then while we were in the zone. So when he had that dream, he had to come to understand his dreams. Now, if you look at this verse now, you will slap yourself. You will hit yourself. Because everyone inside this hall is in opposition to this verse 3 where we read. There is nobody inside this hall that his life is in agreement with this verse of the scripture. Everyone. If we must tell ourselves truth. And it is only when we tell ourselves truth that we can be able to strive. To strive. Now, not just that he has given unto us all things that pertain unto life and all things that pertain unto godliness. He also called us into glory. preachers I came to life and met that pushes me to fight and to disagree with everything they told me. They told us then that he called us into poverty. He called us into wretchedness. He called us into affliction. He called us into a nobody. Because to them, once you are born again, you become the next Lazarus on earth. Your life will amount to nobody. You can't be able to have anything of your own. When the only clothes you have to wear is when there is second or third class or cricket bell that somebody opens somewhere. You go there, you select the one that you select. You see the kind of suit they wear. When they put on those suits, you will think that it is a suit. People that came to Nigeria and to exploit us, war during those days. When they put it on, you will think they're wearing long suit, and they think, but you will detest believers. You'll be asking yourself. There was a time I almost abandoned faith. And I was direct. If this is what Jesus brought to the earth, he need to come back and die again. Because if people that serve shrine at least could survive and have, some of them live a good life, physical, why are you telling me that this is God and he came to die, and people he died for are wretched? If they can't, that was why before now, you tell yourself in your family you are a believer, everybody will reject you because they know you are signed into poverty. You are signed into wretchedness. You are signed that when issues show forth in your family, you will not be able to contribute further. You are signed that when you manage to travel